gonna toss?
Yeah.
Yes.
What are those cars called?
Gladiators? Yeah, Gladiators.
Yeah, Gladiators.
On the toss.
Yeah,
The
one
one
that toss an electrical field.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I figured. All right.
That was it up.
What's that?
Sundar, who's going to be out there with you today?
It's unfortunately me.
Oh, okay.
Create this
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Watch that. President.
There we go.
Umpire. Why you not?
Nobody, Anuj, even morning today I asked him, is there any change?
Mm.
Okay, today I'm going to wear this.
Yeah, that's fine.
Tight for me.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to basically set this thing up, turn the audio on, and Joe, it's your show.
Yeah.
Do everything at once.
We are live.
Okay.
So I will connect this.
Oakland collection के ना चेतना सुयोग लिया.
Yes, honestly. Days on which Suyog is not there, she is doing it.
Suयोग is there only on Saturday, Sunday, is it?
Suyog is only on Saturday, no, Sunday and first day. And then he'll do the qualifiers.
And the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Malela just created a group and he has the LA guys also in the same group. And
Yeah.
it's called it Oakland Colosseum. So I
Yeah.
was wondering if they are also doing this one.
No, I think.
Then I got a mail right now. David White.
Yeah, for this
That
thing.
accreditation when you say it's the badge.
Correct, badge. Huh? We can pull it back while we are at it. Let's pull it back.
What happened?
Huh?
Pull what back?
This portion of the boundary. No, so there's plenty of space. So let's pull this now. That road should be full. We shouldn't even do this.
You want it? Make a correct and sorry, I'll do it. Back. You did? Yeah.
all those too, right? At the MNC?
Who?
You?
Most likely I'll be there. Oh, we haven't started this boat now.
What's up?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. शॉर्टकट में नहीं रखता मैं, ठीक है?
Okay.
इन तीनों से एक चूज करूंगा. हाँ?
Ah. No, second innings you can do that.
सिर्फ देखता हूँ.
Okay.
कौन है क्या? Hello, sir. Good morning. How are you?
Too.
Yeah. To see
Always a good day when I'm out here at the park.
today.
Yeah, always a good day to be out at the park.
Yeah.
Some cloud covers bloomed off.
Sir, my innings, that ball is fine, okay? Without talk.
Was it?
Without talk. This two not. This one is fine. Okay?
Okay.
But good day. Guys, next week is 60 meter. 50 at usual. What the fuck?
No, come here. This is okay. This is okay.
What else?
Yeah.
Stop worrying about the cricket there. That is your only thing I for. Just play the cricket there.
Yeah.
You can't see a man from 50 at the end. I only have to play 20 at the end.
Let's do it. Good.
Let me get it through properly.
You're all good, Joe?
Yeah, we're live and this is working.
Yeah, should be. Let me check. Oh, actually, this one. So it will be. Double check what he's doing.
Welcome NorCal cricket crazies to coverage of the Chandra Botapati Memorial NCCA Super League on the Northern California Cricket Association YouTube channel. Today it's Judgment Day in the group phase of this tournament after last week's quote-unquote eliminator between the Gladiators and the Santa Clara Cricket Club Aces, and then essentially a qualifier between the Strikers Cricket Academy NextGen 11 and the Afghaniswanen. We have what amounts to a challenger now. Afghaniswanen are in the grand final, scheduled currently for July 1st. And here it's going to be Shivam Mishra's AI Gladiators taking on Kamran Hotak's Strikers Cricket Academy NextGen 11, live from the Taarika Foundation Ground in Morgan Hill, California. A spot in the final on the line. Joe Hickey with you for this final act of the group phase to get you up to date on where folks stand. Strikers sit in second place in the table right now on 5 points. They are 3 points back of already finished Afghaniswanen, and so they will not finish any higher than second place. The key thing for them is they don't want to wind up knocked down to third. They suffered their first loss since the tournament opening weekend, this past weekend, at the hands of the now confirmed finalists Zwanan. They'd managed 2 wins and a tie in the interim. By far the most consequential of those results between the 2 losses was their victory over the AI Gladiators on May 9th. In that match, these Gladiators were chasing a target of just 90. They bowled beautifully in the first innings. They needed just 9 runs from 22 balls to win. And at that point, Captain Kamran Hotak and youngster Naman Patil took the last 5 wickets for just 4 runs in 15 balls to deny them that win. Had Mishra's men gotten over the line that day, they would already be your other finalist, and this would be a dead rubber. Instead, they sit today on 4 points and need a win to prolong their season. AI Gladiators at the moment in 4th position, with the Aces having moved to 5 points yesterday as well, with a victory over the Zwanan. But they have had a campaign that is essentially the mirror image. The mirror image of the campaign of the Strikers thus far. They had not won since their opener until last weekend when they defeated the Santa Clara Cricket Club Aces, that in the de facto eliminator. Last week it was a late innings eruption from Aces Vijayaram Nandula, who scored 39 of his 93 runs in the final 3 overs and had the Gladiators teetering at the innings break. They would lose 3 wickets in the power play as well as they began their response. At that point, though, the captain came out to pair with opener Sahil Garg and prove that a good pair beats an ace high. Garg scored 71, Mishra added 66, and they put on an unbeaten 122-run partnership to set up today's winner-take-all match. It's Kamran Hotak, the captain, facing off with Supranch Kumar, the righty pacer, as we get underway here in Morgan Hill. Supranch will be bowling the first over from Atul's end. For those wondering, that is the end of the ground to the south-southwest. It's a field that, for the most part, the pitch runs almost north-south, but it is ever so slightly angled, so south-southwest to north-northeast. My apologies, I have it backwards. Atul's end is bowling in the direction of south-southwest, but coming from the north-northeast. As he enters your screen right now, Kamran Hotak, the captain, guiding that one inside the circle. Up with it, a Gladiators fielder on the interior. Power play, of course, just 2 men permitted in the deep. One of those is at third man. Currently searching for the other one, honestly. I don't see him. Third delivery, that one teasing the edge and into the gloves of Manav Nayak. A slip in place here in over number 1. In the person of Pranay Suri. 3 dots to start for Supranch, who had a very up and down experience in match 1, or I should say match 5 rather. First one I was in attendance for. Gave up 9 runs off his first ball, 5 wides and a 4, and just 12 off 17, and then got hammered in the final over by Vijayaram. That one up on the splice, that'll be run to third man. First runs on the board, the captain in progress. That'll bring Rohit Ramkumar up. Rohit, one of, for the most part, by and large, very similar 12 players available to Kamran Hotak. Main changes: Natwar Agarwal, Sagar Takar, and Srihas Krishna out. And a trio of players with Major League Cricket experience in Taruna Dada, Umang Parikh, and the legend, the groundskeeper. And a voice you can't help but hear from all around the field, Gary Graham. Supranch Kumar over the wicket here to the right-hander, Rohit Ramkumar, and that one is very close to taking the edge. Ramkumar offered it one in the corridor of uncertainty. Very tight first over for the righty Supranch Kumar. Those are your changes in the Strikers Cricket Academy. 11, 3 in, 3 out. Over on the Gladiators side, Trish Prakash and Raj Badadare do not return today. Into the 11, Abhishek Singh, who took 3 wickets on opening day and has not played since. He's into the 11, as is Sohan Bhatt. In a club with a little bit of San Ramon Grizzlies flavor to it, for those that are fans of MILC. Final ball of the first, perhaps not. That one's gone back behind the legs of Rohit Ramkumar, and so that's going to be a wide. Supranch will have to re-bowl that. It is, by the way, 101 freeway. You see behind you those cars going northbound, again to help you with your directionality. Shadows helping a little bit at the moment as well. Now perhaps the final ball of the first over, and that one right on the mark, targeting the top of leg stump. Ramkumar defends it. A very tight first over. Through 1, 2 for no loss. Expecting a high temperature of 89 degrees at the moment. A very pleasant 69 as we get underway, and it is those cooler conditions, and at least the little bit of cloud cover we had prior to the start of play that led Shiva Mishra, captain of the AI Gladiators, to elect to field first when he won the toss about 25 odd minutes ago. So far, that decision looking good, but the day is young. Just two, one off the bat, and one behind the legs of Rohit Ramkumar. It'll be Dev Tadani handling the first of the overs from the Taarika end. Kamran Hotak on strike. That one's airborne for a moment, but it will be wide of the man in the circle and will run away to the boundary. First boundary of the encounter. And it goes the way of Kamran. That's his fifth of the tournament. Moves him to 50 runs here inside this Chandrabotapati Memorial Super League. So far, Kamran, all the runs off the bat. For Rohit, this is fourth innings of the tournament, 26 runs for him. He's currently stuck at that after absorbing a pair of dots in the first over. We'll be happy to have Gary Graham and Umang Parikh back. Those are their fifth and eighth leading run scorers in the tournament so far. We also get the opportunity to move Amog Adapalli a little further down the lineup, who had been opening. Today, Ramkumar in his place. Hotak, though, still on strike at the moment, taps that to the offside. Deep men here in this second over against Tadani, a little different, square leg and long on. That one tapped just behind point. Opportunity knocking there as the throw came in from Vatsal Vagela. Did not hit the stumps, might have had. Rohit's in a little bit of trouble had he hit the target. That'll be a single. Long on fielder quite obviously was a response. The ball hit wide of the captain, Shiva Mishra, on that first ball from Dev. Changes abound here again with Rohit Ramkumar in. On strike. Pranay Suri will station himself as a slip. Deep protection remains at backward square and at long on. Of course, those are on the opposite sides of the field now, with the righty-lefty combination. Here for Strikers Next Gen. Tadani over the wicket. Again, teasing the splice of the bat. That is at least the second, maybe even the third ball we've seen. That general vicinity to Rohit. Rohit Ramkumar has spent some time with the Southern California MILC sides. Particularly part of those first couple of seasons of the league that'll get started around these parts in August 7th. Opening weekend, in fact, expected to be held here if the draft schedule holds up. Of course, it'll be held in all sorts of different places, but Western Division matches likely to take place right here. Good comeback so far from Dev after the 4 on the first ball. That one tapped right back to him. And indeed, after a single against Ramkumar on strike, he manages to dot up the other opener. He's still looking for his first run after 5 balls faced so far through 2. Strikers Next Gen, 7 for no loss. Supranj Kumar stays on from Atul's end. I want a nice length delivery up into the body of Kamran Hotak, well navigated. Kamran continues to be in possession of all the runs thus far, with the lone exception of the day's only extra. Extra is a big problem for AI Gladiators last week. Their opponent, the Santa Clara Cricket Club Aces, got good production out of Vijayaram Nandula, of course, the 93 not out. Got a decent showing as well out of the other opener, Akash Sundaresan. But their third leading scorer was extras, and 18 of those were wides. It wasn't that they were wide often, it was that they were wide in costly ways over and over and over again. So far, so good here through, admittedly, just 15 deliveries, only the one wide. Ramkumar back on strike. He turns and lofts this one, and it's going to be wide of the deep protection at backward square, and it's going to go all the way, just barely over the rope. Ramkumar underway with authority, and just like that, has caught up to within one of Kamran's total. So far, strikers NextGen dealing in boundaries, and we saw the first delivery, a lovely length, came right up into the body of Kamran Hotak. That one, similar line, at least going into the body of the batter. A bit shorter, and Rohit was ready for it. They leave the deep protection at backward square, perhaps a little further backward now. Other deep man is at third. 3 on the offside, 2 on the on, and 2 slips in place, with Kumar tempting that outer edge. And you can see the immediate change as soon as Rohit came on strike, waiting for that edge to finally be picked up. So it's 2 slips, 3 on the offside inside the circle. On the onside, just mid-on, and fine leg inside the circle. Again, drifting in on the body, and he'll pull that in the direction of the deep man. Seen both Supranj and Dev tempting the edge on Rohit Ramkumar, but so far to no avail. Do keep one of the slips in, with Kamran Hotak up to face an ultimate ball of over number 3. And again, there is that tempter. 5th stump line. Little full. But a fiddling attempt and unable to make contact is the captain, Kamran. Supranj on the tournament is suited up for every match. He's taken 6 wickets, an average of just under 16 runs per, striking once every 14 balls. He was held wicketless, however, last week. Big hoik and a miss. 6 stump line, back of a length. And another dot delivery to finish. So much like Tadani, a generally good over with one mistake that was punished. 8 from it. Strikers NextGen, 15 for no loss through 3. Half the power play done and dusted. Strikers NextGen, 15 for no loss. Will be Rohit Ramkumar on strike and Dev Tadani continuing from the Taarika end. First delivery's in the air and dropped! third man inside the circle, unable to hold on. That was an authentic chance to dismiss Rohit Ramkumar. And he survives only just. The number I have on my roster does not correspond to... The number I see on the field doesn't correspond to anyone on my roster, so I'll try and get you the name of that as the second delivery from Dev. Goes down leg and will be a wide. Authentic opportunity as Tandani with a little bit of shape in the air took the edge of Ramkumar. Second delivery a little too much shape. Thoughts of trying to take a single. Immediately turned aside. Sohan Dutt, one of the players into the side today. Up to claim. Deep protection with Kamran Hotak batting. Is at square leg and long on. A whopping 5 on the offside inside the circle, though. Just 2 on the on. That one's also popped up, but he's gotten enough of that edge for it to run away to third man. Second boundary of the encounter for Kamran. Seen that so far, the one loose delivery each of these overs. I'm not sure that would necessarily qualify. I think Hotak just did exceedingly well to guide that one wide of Supranj Kumar at third. With all that offside protection both in front and behind point. Amazing he could find a gap there. That one is lifted. The deep man's got a ton of work to do and is not going to get there. Can he stop it from being a boundary? No, he cannot. Abhishek Singh had come around, got a touch to it. Couldn't quite slow it down. That one was way up in the air, but it will go down as a second boundary on the trot for Kamran Hotak. Looks like it'll be a personnel change. They're going to leave it as a deep, I should say deep mid-wicket, not backward square. Misspoke earlier. Pranay Suri and Abhishek Singh swapping places. This one guided right to the man that had just done the running, Abhishek Singh, now inside the circle. Well-navigated single for the captain. One ball left in the over, and it's been a costly one. 11 so far from it. 9 of that coming off the bat of Kamran Hotak. Only one was from Rohit Ramkumar to start, and it was a drop. That, however, is a shot over a drawn-in mid-off. No risk involved in that. Stand and deliver. Rohit Ramkumar immediately working to punish the AI Gladiators for dropping him on the first ball of that over. 15 runs from over number 4. Strikers NextGen double their score, 30 for no loss through 4. First over of spin to come up here from tool's end. It's going to be the lefty Vatsal Vagela. So far, 3 fours to account for 75% of Kamran Hotak's 16 runs. Rohit Ramkumar, 12 runs, 2 of those coming on a pair of boundary strokes, a 4 and a 6. Dev Tadani taking a little bit of tap in his second over of work. Now his teammate both here and in MILC, Vatsal Vagela, will come around the wicket with the lefty spin. Decent bit of purchase right away, but that puts it straight into Kamran Hotak's arc. Straight past the fielder on the offside. It's at 75% of 16, make it now 80% of his 20. Coming by way of boundaries as that ball is chased over into the MH orchards. So a rude greeting for Vagela. Vatsal and Supranch now the leading wicket takers for this team. And he's looking for one there. The call is loud, but it is ignored. Working quickly, 6 wickets in the tournament and an average of 17 per. Struck once every 20 deliveries and has kept opponents to an economy just a smidge over 5. He's already given up 4 in this first over. As Kamran Hotak reassesses his situation following the scare. Now breaking out the sweep. It's going to be a long run for mid-wicket to come in and try and hold that to just a pair. Penultimate over of the power play. Kamran Hotak remains on strike. Protection is at mid-wicket and at a very wide long on. Again looking for the sweep. This time a bit squarer of the wicket, and this time it'll beat the deep mid-wicket for another 4. Five of the last 8 balls bowled by the AI Gladiators have found their way to the rope. 4 of those courtesy of Kamran. One gorgeous off drive from Rohit Ramkumar before in the middle of all that. It's going to be down the leg side. Did Kamran get anything on it? He didn't, and so that'll be a wide. Terribly common thing to see Vatsal Vagela taken to the cleaners, but so far through 4 balls, it's been a rough one. That one is airborne, might be a chance, but it's going to be on one hop over the top of the deep mid-wicket fielder. Bit of difficulty out there in the deep for Sohan Bhatt. Off the bat, probably thought he was in it for just a moment. Might have a chance to come in and make a diving catch, then had to hit the brakes. Then couldn't quite get his feet under him. That ball popped up a bit off the surface. Make it now 6 of the last 9 legal deliveries disappearing to the rope. Seem perhaps having a little bit of difficulty locating the ball here, but we'll recap where we're at. Started with a few tight overs. Supranch Kumar gave up just 2 off over number 1, a single and a wide. Dev Tadani was targeted by Kamran on the first delivery of his first over, but then bowled 4 dots and a single following that. It was just 7 for no loss through 2. Supranch did give up a 6 early in the over to Rohit Ramkumar, the only maximum so far in his second over of work. Gave up 8 off that second over to make it 15. And that would be the first of 2 overs in which Strikers Next Gen would essentially double their score. It went from 7 to 15 and then 15 to 30 with a flurry of 4s and a dropped catch in over number 4. In this one so far, I don't know if they'll double their score, but they do have 15 already off of the first 5. Ball has been located. We're ready for the final ball of the 5th. Again, looking for the sweep, a bit on the full side. And that is going to be a long run, closing the gap, our mid-wicket and long on. Sohanbot will get to it, but it'll be a pair. 17 runs from Vagela's first. Strikers Next Gen sitting at 47 for no loss with 1 over left in the power play. This already a far cry from what the first meeting between these two teams looked like. Strikers Next Gen batted first back on May 9th as well when they faced off with the Gladiators. They elected to do it, and it looked like a bad decision early as they were down 3 wickets, 14 balls in, and were down at 24 for 4 at the end of the power play. Today, a far different story, 47 for no loss. And okay, we have identified who number 15 is on the roster. I was not given his name earlier in the 11, or more accurately 12. It is Harish Kakani. Another player into the AI Gladiators lineup, and he will be looking to atone. He was the man at a drawn-in third. He was unable to hold on and dismiss Rohit Ramkumar. That's who he will be facing as he bowls the final over of this power play. Deep minute, backward square and long on for Rohit Ramkumar. Kakani over the wicket. Bit of medium pace. First delivery is dragged in the direction of that deep protection. And a single to start. For Kakani, just his second appearance in the Chandrabotapati Super League. Took 2 wickets, but conceded 42 runs in that appearance earlier. Doing so in 3.5 overs. Now untapped straight back. Or rather, correction, it was 4 full overs. I was looking at his strike rate and thinking it was his economy. So bowled the full complement, took 2 for 42. So far, a single and a dot to begin. Changes in the field as a very wide mid-wicket goes into place at the rope. That one leaping up on Hotak from a decent length, batted back. Mentioned before, AI Gladiators, different teams in this league with different flavors of MILC, if you're somebody who is a connoisseur of that league, as I don't think you have any doubt I am. AI Gladiators, lot of San Ramon Grizzlies, Strikers, unsurprisingly, a lot of Silicon Valley Strikers. Akanzwanan, quite a bit of East Bay Blazers flavor to them. Quick decision to sweep that one. There is protection out there in the deep. They thought about a second run, but will think better of it. With Hotak, the deep protection was on the onside out in front of square. As I mentioned, a rather rather narrow mid-wicket, and a long-on fielder. They'll push long on and backward square to the rope again with Rohit Ramkumar. That is destroyed, and there's nobody in that vicinity at all. Quite a bit of exit velocity. It doesn't quite have the distance, and it'll go for 4. Work on the launch angle just a little bit, but Rohit Ramkumar dealing in boundaries for most of his runs, and he brings up the 50 and the 50 partnership in style. "17 runs for him so far. 14 of them courtesy of balls reaching the rope. Final ball of the power play, a little shorter from Kakani. Ramkumar able to stay on top of it and drag it to the onside, just one fielder there. And it's Sohan Bhatt scooping and firing it back in. A little bit of a return to sanity, just 7 runs off the over, but the 50 is up for the strikers NextGen. They finish the power play with an unbeaten 54. Fielding restrictions released here as we hit over number 7. Strikers NextGen 54 for no loss in a match to determine who will face off on July 1st with Afghan Zwanan in the Chandrabotapati Memorial Super League Final. Vatsal Vagela continues from Atul's end. First delivery well flighted and pounded into the ground. Dot delivery. Vagela looking for a comeback after a very rough first over. Just 1 dot. And 3 boundaries conceded by the young lefty spinner from Milpitas. Now one a little fuller. That's going to be looped in the air and on a couple of hops to the man at sweeper cover. A single for the right-handed bat of Ramkumar. Keep an eye on subtle differences in the way they set the field up here for the 2 batters. It does appear we've got sweeper cover, long off, long on, mid-wicket, and backwards square here for Kamran Hotak. All 3 fielders on the infield, on the offside. And he'll look to pop that one up just over the head of Manav Nayak. Correction, 1 fielder inside the circle at short third over on the... rather fine leg, I mean to say, over on the onside, but nothing out in front of Hotak inside the 30-yard circle. At any rate, the righty-lefty combination means a lot of movement. Similar field, though, for Ramkumar. One pounded through the gap on the offside, wide of cover. And the movements continue. Shiva Mishra, the captain, getting in his steps as he moves side to side. Stations himself now at point. Stepping forward a little bit to try to knock Vagela off his length. He may have accessed the gap, and he does. Just barely past the dive of Khaibarwali. He had made decent ground coming over from long on, but he and Sahil Garg not able to close that gap in time. After a sequence of singles, it's a 4 for Kamran Hotak. He'll face the last delivery of the 7th. flirted with perhaps coming forward, instead tries to sweep back behind and picks out fine leg. There'll be a dot to finish. Another 7-run over here in the 7th, first without the fielding restrictions, and it's 61 for no loss. A bit of a comeback over for Vagela from Atul's end. From the Taarika end, Kakani will continue after he brought a little sanity back to the proceedings in the 6th. First delivery under edge, could have gone anywhere. It squirts away to square leg. And a single. Certainly, to this point, the Gladiators have been substantially closer to dismissing Rohit Ramkumar than they have been Kamran Hotak. Early on, it was Supraj Kumar and Devdadani both flirting with picking up an edge on that corridor of uncertainty kind of line. Of course, the big drop with him on 7 runs, he's already made them pay to the tune of 14 extra tallies for dropping him on the first ball of the 4th. Round the wicket to the lefty, and that one is going to see the face of the bat opened, guided wide of mid-off for a single. Kani got his minor league career started with San Diego Surf Riders, but was pulled up here to San Ramon back in 23 and has been an expert death bowler in particular in his time in MILC. That was the pace-off delivery. Absolutely freezes Rohit. 35-year-old did spend a year at Dallas Exploria Giants in between. Somebody who also adds a bat to this AI Gladiators lineup, a serious all-rounder. That one is just over the leap of Shiva Mishra. Approval coming from the Strikers Cricket Academy NextGen 11 dugout. Just a lovely drive. Needed to loft that just enough to get over Shiva Mishra in the covers. He did so. Deep protection here with Ramkumar batting. Ball out in front of the wicket except for the backward square leg. Off to our left. That one's in the air. It looks like he's got enough juice on it to get it over the top of any field that might be placed in that area. That's a cow corner maximum. A productive over here for Rohit Ramkumar. .31 for him, 39 for Kamran. Both of them with their high scores on the season already here in over number 8. Final ball of it is again the pace-off delivery going down the leg line. Overthrow here, though, as they try to get the out at one end. They're going to get it at the other. What a backup! And Rohit Ramkumar has given away the wicket trying to run on the overthrow. Final ball of the 8th over brings about the first wicket, and it ends up being the field necessary to achieve it. That ball was down the leg side, or towards the legs, I should say, near the pads. Ramkumar worked that away to the offside in order to get the single. But then the throw came in, targeting the stumps over at Harish's end. It was a little bit long. They decided to try to take a second on the overthrow. And an absolute missile from the fielder who had begun that play at long on. Still waiting here for confirmation of the identity there. But that is the end of the road for Rohit Ramkumar. He will depart with 32 off 21 balls. 3 4s and 2 6s in his innings. But the run out there is Nisar Wadat, responsible for the throw. And of course, Manav Nayak, the deft gloves and the removal of the bails. 8 overs complete, first wicket falls, 74 for 1.
What's good? Shut up!
A new batter and a new bowler as we go to over number 9. Pranay Suri will come in from Atul's end. Amav Adapalli stations himself at the non-striker's end, which always feels funny to say in a game involving the strikers. Kind of feels like they're both strikers' ends, but for the time being, not on strike. Kamran Hotak smothers the first delivery from Pranay. That one's going to get through all the defenses as Hotak swings. It also gets through Manav Nayak, but not far enough to take a bye. Suri keeping it flat and hard. Single taken here by Kamran Hotak. That'll get Adapalli on strike for the first time today. Adapalli on the tournament. 57 runs, 35 of those coming in his best showing. Strike rate of only 83, though, and just a pair of 4s. These two teammates with the Silicon Valley Strikers of MILC. As Adapalli comes up, there's 3 on the onside in the deep. That one flirting with the tram line. A little too much. Prakash Giri, president of the NCCA, called into service as one of the umpires today, signals the wide. He's joined by Sundaram Subramanian presently at the square leg umpire position. That one, 2 sounds. We hear bat and pad. Squirts away back behind square leg for a single, and Adapalli's underway. Kamran, as we mentioned, entering play today. Just 49 runs to his name. He's moved into the 40s today. In a big innings, looking to lead from the front. And he is chopped on, and that is all for him. 40 from 31. Pranay Suri, in his first over of work, has struck. For him, his 3rd wicket of the tournament. Just like that, the screw turning the other direction. As we approach the halfway point of this innings, over number 8 and 9 have very much gone the way of the AI Gladiators. One still left in this 9th over, but Kamran's got to go. So that will bring in a serious dose of youth. The 16-year-old Vivan Jagtiani, as the applause comes from the dugout for the captain and opener Kamran Hotak. He wants to have a few words with the man on his way in. Jagtiani was Strikers' leading scorer in their loss last week against Achan Zwanen. Sort of a strange day, as early in the day, people were knocking the cover off the ball. We had a score of 160 posted by Santa Clara Cricket Club Aces, 93 not out by Vijay Ramnandula, and then that was chased down easily by AI Gladiators. In the late game, Achan Zwanen just barely allowed Strikers to get themselves into triple figures, and Jagtiani had a labored 31 for the high score in that game. But he has been one of the stories of this tournament with bat in hand. You always love to see a young player coming good. He leads this team in scoring with 144 runs, high score of 58. He'll navigate the first delivery of his innings, a dot out of the hand of Pranay Suri, who bowls a phenomenal first over. 4 dots, just 3 runs from it, and he takes the wicket of the captain and the lone remaining opener, Kamran Hotak. 77 for 2 through 9. It'll be a change of ends for Vatsal Vagela, who will bowl his 3rd of the encounter here as we approach the halfway point. He'll be facing off with Amogarapalli. First delivery, a ton of turn from that end. Makes you wonder if they saw something about the surface from that side. As Adapalli fiddling at it. One of the more promising young bats here on the West Coast. A lot of flight. That is a rank full toss, and that is driven well over the top of deep mid-wicket. And Amo Gadapalli well and truly underway with a massive 6. Gela's first ball, a perfect length. Dancing away from the bat of Adapalli, almost got a bit too much turn. Bit on the extravagant side, and that's leading to him not taking leading to Vagela not taking anything from it. That ball, on the other hand, well overpitched. Flattens it out. Adapalli trying to hit it on the up. No such luck. Last year, among batters under the age of 25 in minor league cricket here in the West, Adapalli led all batters. In fact, only Sujith Gowda and Saidib Ganesh had more runs among batters whose ages are under 30. Somebody who had lingered at the fringes of the Silicon Valley Strikers for a few seasons as a youth player that wasn't getting much run last season, opened to great effect. It's a single here. Out to long off, and that'll be Vivan Jagtiani back on strike. They continue with the lefty-righty combination. No surprise that Adapalli would be in early, even with him not opening, but you do wonder whether the question of who left first dictated which of these two men came out first. Adapalli in at 3 replaced the righty Ramkumar. Now Jagtiani replacing his captain Kamran Hotak. That one run back to fine leg. Clean pickup might have had Abhishek Singh in with a chance to throw down the stumps at the wicketkeeper's end. Instead, it'll go as a single, and Jagtiani is underway. That'll bring an end to the over and bring us to the halfway point with Strikers Cricket Academy NextGen 11 at 85 for 2. Pranay Suri continues from Atul's end, round the wicket to the left-handed Jagtiani. First delivery run to the fielder inside the circle, Shivam Mishra on the offside, but slowly enough to run a single. Vivan getting his eye in quickly here. But the right-hander Adapali, the only fielder inside the circle on the onside, is at fine leg. That is a straight drive back over Pranay Suri's head, one bounce and over the rope for 4. Doesn't particularly matter where you place the fielders when the ball's hit like that. Straight back over the head of the bowler. And with authority. 10 of Adapali's 12 runs so far, coming courtesy of boundaries. Maximum earlier off of Vagela. And the first boundary hit by the strikers against Pranay Suri. Suri over the wicket. Flattens that out, taps straight back to him. Little shorter, and he's looking to beat the man at fine leg. Just a touch of risk, but he guides it fine enough to avoid Abhishek Singh's reach. And another 4 there for Adapali. Suri had done well to keep the ball in that 4th and 5th stump line. That one goes down leg. And Amog was ready for it. Flicked back over the shoulder. Probably would have felt more comfortable with a little more altitude on it, but gets the job done all the same. Backward square has moved a fair bit further in. This one's in the air, long run, backpedaling for Shivam Mishra. It's going to fall safely about 5 feet beyond his reach, and it'll be a single for Adapali. Caught a leading edge that time as Adapali tried to close the face of the bat and guide it to that vacant onside. Instead, skewed high into the air. Final delivery of the over round the wicket to Jagtiani. That one's tapped right back along the pitch for a dot. So a little bit of everything. 2 4s, 2 singles, 2 dots in that over. Strikers NextGen 95 for 2 through 11. Shivam Mishra is going to bowl out Vatsal Vagela here. His first over went for 17, his last 2 a combined 15. He's had a decent comeback from that rough first frame. First delivery to Adapali, guided into the covers for a single. Jagtiani so far a studied start to his innings. You are looking at the USA Nationals' best batter in the under-15 division back in November. Somebody who got a lot of excitement about, and he is going to take off running for a single. Good work by the deep fielder at mid-wicket to come screaming in and limit that to just 1. But Vivan has been on the radar ever since 2021, won a Cal Cricket Academy scholarship as a U12. As Adapali will close the face of the bat. Nice work by Abhishek Singh to save a couple of runs. He was stationed at drawn-in third man and takes the plaudits from his captain and from from Pranay Suri rather, and from Dev Tadani. That was guided very, very fine, just wide of Manav Nayak's gloves. single there that'll bring Jagtiani back on strike. You would figure with this performance, he may be on the verge of breaking through. One of the defining features of competitive teams in minor league is that you've got a youth player that actually gives you either runs or wickets. That one's going to leap up and evade the bat into the gloves of Manav Nayak. This is perhaps a first opportunity for Jagtiani to get a steady diet of MILC level bowling, and he's enjoyed it. 144 runs coming into action today. That one tapped to the offside. Just enough room. He takes off for the single. The bye didn't catch it at the time. The umpire signal, but a wide in between from the one that leapt up and evaded Jagtiani's bat. So 4 off 6 for him. Adapali so far 3 boundary strokes, including a maximum. Looking to go a little more delicate. Runs it to fine leg for a single. Pretty much any game you can navigate Vatsal Vagela without conceding a wicket is a good one. He's only got 1 left in his spell, and he's gone at nearly 10s. Jagtiani lifts that one, and it's going to fall just in front of the mid-wicket fielder, and it spins away and is going to go for 4. That one an absolute hash made of the fielder out in the deep. And as a result, it's going to be 42 from Vatsal Vagela's spell, the 100 up earlier in the over in that sequence of singles for Strikers Cricket Academy. But Vagela goes at nearly twice, actually no, just a little over twice his economy for the tournament. 42 off of his 4 without striking. Strikers Next Gen, 105 for 2 through 12. Bowling change at Abdul's end, and it's going to be Dev Tadani back into the attack. A pair of overs in chiaroscuro in his first spell. Gave up a 4 on the first ball he bowled, and then 1 from the following 5 in his first over. A decent tight one to open the bowling at the Taarika end. Second over, Ramkumar was dropped on 7. Of course, he eventually went for 32. As the first delivery from Tadani is guided through a gap behind point. That'll be a pair for Adapali, as a good bit of work in the deep to keep that from reaching the rope. Partnership going at a strike rate of 150 right now, 30 off 20, since Kamran was dismissed by Pranay Suri on the second to last ball of the 9th over. Returning to Dev's earlier spell, his second over was an eventful one. Rohit dropped on 7. He said that eventually cost the AI Gladiators 25 total runs. Bowled a wide, then a dot, and then conceded 4s on 3 of the next 4 deliveries. Make it now 4 of his last 5. They've gone for multiple runs. Good work in the field, though, to avoid the 4. This one, on the other hand, is absolutely not staying inside the rope. Bashed between fine leg and backward square, and it goes all the way for 6. Amogedapali now at 28. 20 of that has come from his 4 boundary strokes, second maximum today. Counsel coming from Pranay Suri. See what Tadani's got here. He went a little short on that last delivery. Narapali punished him for it. Better that time. Well navigated by Arapali, they will take the quick single. Tadani with a comeback delivery there. Now with the lefty on strike, long on, mid-wicket. In fact, perhaps cow corner. It does look like there might be three in front of square leg on the onside. Now the two fielders at mid-wicket and square leg pulled a little bit further back. In fact, never mind. Now for sure, square leg, mid-wicket, long on. All the protection in front of the wicket, though, as well. Sweeper cover and long off. Here comes Tadani over the wicket to Jagtiani. That's a nice teasing ball. Good line and a much better length from Tadani. Dev on the season, 2 wickets in his 3 innings. Goes pace off. Did he get a piece of that one? No. Arms up from the fielder at short third man. He thought he heard a tickle. But Vivan fights on. So far, Tadani's third over looking a little more like his first. One regrettable ball, but otherwise a tight one. What has he got for the finish? Opening the face of the bat and guiding that over the top of Mishra, and that is going to be wide of the man at long off. Supranj Kumar cannot get there before it gets over the rope. Those are the types of shots that Cameron Hotak was so excited about when I had a chance to talk to him about this young man. His ability to access the offside, sometimes off one leg. Quite impressive, and you saw it right there. A 4 to finish the over. And it winds up being 13 from the 13th. 118 for 2. It's going to be a third successive over of lefty spin from this end of the ground, but with Vaghela bowled out, it's going to be Sohan Bhatt taking the ball for the first time in this encounter. Sohan, in fact, #1 in the tournament in economy, albeit small sample size. He's bowled just 2 innings. He's taken 1 for 10 in 3 overs. But that 3.33 economy, better than anyone else has managed in this tournament. In fact, his teammate Abhishek Singh, 3.75, ranks 3rd in the tournament. The two of them have bowled a total of 7 overs. And that is going to put a dent in the economy. First delivery to Amogadapalli, guided along point, and sweeper cover, not able to cut it off. Add 4 runs to the strikers total and to that of the young #3 batter, now at 33 off 17, going at nearly 2 runs a ball. Third 4 for Amogadapalli. The tricky thing about these small sample sizes is just like that, Sohan Bhatt Probably now number 3 or number 4 in economy in the tournament, just on one hit. When you've been economical, but only bowled a little bit, that's what happens. Round the wicket to the righty Adipali. Now some decent turn there. It beats everything. And is going to run back very fine of third. Good long run. And Abhishek Singh will keep it in and save a run. Waiting for the signal here. That is 3 byes. So that one spun up, leapt off the surface, beat the bat of Adipali, beat the gloves of Manav Nayak. Right now on the screen it's showing as 3 runs off the bat, but it was indeed signaled byes by Sundaram Subramanian, so eventually those runs are not going to belong to Amog Adipali. Currently showing as 3 leg byes. I believe it's just 3 byes, but either way, 3 more to the score for strikers. That one is airborne, straight back over the head of Sohan Bhatt, and that'll beat the 2 fielders down the ground to the rope. 4 more. Those last 3 didn't count against Sohan Bhatt's total. Those 4 assuredly do. And that brings up your 50 partnership between Jagtiani and Adipali, and they get there in just 28 deliveries. What looked like a good pull back in the direction of the men in green. It's turned out to be anything but. They dismissed 2 batters in the span of 5 deliveries. A run out by Nisar Wadat when Rohit Ramkumar got a little greedy on an overthrow. And 5 balls later, Kamran Hotak was bowled by Pranay Suri. Since then, though, 53 off 29. This partnership threatening to make it a very tough climb for AI Gladiators to find their way to a final. This ball tapped to the offside, rather. Another single runs on every delivery so far against Sohan. This one guided towards the captain, Shiva Mishra. Thoughts of taking another run. Thought better of as the throw comes back into Manav Nayak's end, and that'll end the over. Sohan Bhatt goes for 10, plus the 3 byes, 13 from the over. Strikers, 131 for 2, 6 overs to go. Change of ends, rather, for Harish Kakani. He bowled his first 2 overs from the Taarika end. Went for a few boundaries, but overall, not a bad spell for him as he tried to bring some sanity back to the proceedings.
Shot, boy. Good intent. I'm gonna keep going.
Oh, shot. Hey.
4 from the first 3 balls of the Kakani over. Ivan Jagtiani is going to take a second 2 on the bounce. Did well to wait on the slight off-pace delivery from Harry. Jagtiani into the 20s. Adapali sitting at 35 off 20. Courtesy of 5 boundary shots so far. Jagtiani's hit 3 to the rope himself. The partnership now up to 60 runs. Of course, last week, Gladiators defined by a big partnership. They're going to need something like it this time, and it looks like they've ended this one as Kakani picks up the edge of the young lefty batter, and Jagtiani's got to go. 21 off 16 for him. That is that teasing ball we've seen over the course of today's action repeatedly. No one's been able to pick up an edge that way. Kakani at long last does. And so the partnership does come to an end. 60 runs added in just under 6 overs. Going at roughly 10s over the course of that entire partnership, and that has put the strikers in a good position to finish with a flourish and make this a very, very challenging chase. Tarun Adada is in at 5. It'll be his 3rd innings. He's yet to have much in the way of production. A 6 and a 1 so far, going at a strike rate overall of 39, albeit with a very small sample size. Seven runs coming off a total of 19 balls faced. Somebody with a bit of pedigree. He's played a bit here in the Bay Area at the minor league level for the Grizzlies and now for the Strikers. We'll take that first delivery wide of the mark, the second extra of the over out of the hand of Kakani. 5 off the bat. 2 wide of the mark as they continue with the lefty-righty pairing throughout the entire innings. Ramkumar left, replaced him with Amok. Kamran left, replaced him with Vivan. Vivan leaves, replaced him with Taran. That is probably a no ball and is also dispatched over the top. Let's see. Apparently, no. Must have come down to a reasonable height. Prakash Giri has not given the signal. Neither has Sundaram Subramanian. A borderline beamer out of the hand of Harish Kakani, but it just goes for the 4 runs. Tarun Adada off the mark on the first official delivery he faces. Now one that just one that got away from Kakani. Going down the leg side end, for that matter, nearly at waist height. Goes for the Yorker this time, and it is nearly guided wide of third man. Flagged down nicely by Surrey. Here comes a throw back into the wicketkeeper's end. They will get 2, as the flag down by Surrey did not keep it in front of him. Provided time to get off to a run. Big over, though, against Kakani. He had gone for 20 in his first 2. That one goes for 13. Does take the wicket of Jagtiani, though. Gladiators will look to restrict the rate here. 144 for 3 with 5 overs to go. Sohan Bhatt to continue from the Taarika end. All the protection, with the exception of backward square, is out in front. At least the deep protection, I should say. Out in front of Amogadapalli. Do, however, move Harish Kakani into position as a slip. No protection, though, really at third man. First ball to Adapalli, tapped into the vacant area in the covers on the offside. That'll be a single. Bhatt's first over went for 13, 3 of those buys as a ball turned so violently that it evaded Adapalli and the gloves of Nayak, went nearly all the way to the rope before Abhishek Singh chased it down. The lefty Adada now on strike. Indeed, now all the deep protection out in front of him. Square leg, mid-wicket, long on, long off, sweeper cover. Third man and fine leg both inside the circle, otherwise 2 out in front of the wicket on the offside. Nobody on the onside. He is going to target that offside and manages to get it over Mishra. And smack in between sweeper cover and long off. A 4 for Tarun Adada. Well managed. Delivery a bit on the full side. And dispatched. Much better delivery there. Leaps up on Adada. Off the gloves of Nayak. Briefly, the encouragement coming, I thought, might well have been that he had taken off a bail. Round the wicket to the lefty. That one guided along the ground by Adada, and that single will bring up the 150 for the strikers NextGen. Sticking with the lefty spinner, not a bad idea against Tarun Adada. That was his struggle. in minor league last year, both lefty pace and lefty spin. He's out 4 times in 36 balls against that type of bowling. Adapalli, looking to try and access cow corner, instead drags that along the ground to mid-wicket. Certainly a cut that looked like he was trying to elevate. Unable to do so. 1 ball left in the over. Bit tighter here from Bott, just the 1 loosener. And a pretty good finish to the over, as well as Adada drags that on the ground to long off. 8 from it on a day where strikers NextGen are going at 9.5s. You'll take that where you can get it, looking to build a little pressure, try and keep this total under control. Strikers NextGen, though, 152 for 3. Very productive batting card here for strikers and NextGen. They've gotten at least 20 from everybody. 21 from Vivan Jagtiani. 37 not out right now for Amogharapalli. He's 3 runs away from passing the captain, Kamran Hotak, for the high score on his side. Kamran, for his part, 7 fours en route to 40 off 31 before he was bowled by Pranay Suri just before the halfway point of the innings. Adada, at least at the moment, striking at a higher rate than any of the others that we've spoken of so far. 12 off the first 6 he's seen. 2 of those to the boundary, and he's the man on strike as Supranch Kumar comes back into the attack from Atul's end. Seems likely he will handle overs number 17 and 19 from this end. He bowled overs number 1 and 3 as well. Generally kept it pretty tight, just 1 maximum, as he gave up 10 runs in his first 2 overs. First delivery is a top edge that'll fly over the top of Manav Nayak. Deep third man is able to get fine enough to cut that off before it reaches the rope. That'll be 2 from the first from Supranch. Batting remaining, by the way, on the strikers card, if you're interested. Vidit Quatra, Naman Patil, and Gary Graham, probably the 3 biggest names in there. And you would imagine that if one of these guys goes in the next couple of overs, you hand that bat to Gary. He is padded up. Would seem to be the next man in. Off-pace delivery, that is drilled right in our direction. And it's going to clear the rope directly over the head of Supranch Kumar by about 6 or 7 feet. Tarun Adada looking to make up for lost time. We mentioned it before. 7 off of 19 in the tournament so far. And I believe he's just gotten his tournament strike rate up to 100 in the span of 8 balls. That one was impressive. What does Supranch have for a comeback? Coming over the wicket to the lefty.
Job, boy!
A bit overpitched, and that one's going to look for the gap on the onside. He's got long on running this way and that. And that'll be a 4 to follow it up. 12 off the first 3 deliveries of this over as Silicon Valley Cricket Academy look for the big finish and to put this out of reach for the AI Gladiators. Aborted run up there from Supranj Kumar. No real changes to the deep protection here for AI Gladiators. They do have a deep, wide third man. Otherwise, it is sweeper cover, long off, long on, and mid-wicket. Hasn't mattered where you put him so far against Adada. He looks for a big heave into the onside and comes up empty. Big swing, no ding. This already the second highest score of the tournament for Strikers NextGen. Just 15 runs shy of what they did in beating the Santa Clara Cricket Club Aces. That back on May 16th. As for the Gladiators, biggest total they've given up since the 212 for 6 by Afghan Zwanan in the second match. Supranj going off pace and misses the tram line. And they're going to take a few extras here as that one got by on an overthrow. As a Baltimore Oriole fan, we'll call that a Kyle Bradish. Ball tossed back towards Supranj and not able to come up with it. That one a little better. Keeps it inside the tram line, and Adada comes up empty. With just 4 fielders in front of square right now. Big gap over at cover. If Adada can access it, especially with Supranj bowling this wide line. Looks for it here, instead might have picked out third man. One big hop, this time flagged down by Shiva Mishra. It'll just be a single. But another costly one there. The over goes for a whopping 13, I believe, if I can do the math. I think I did the math right. Either way, 168 for 3, 18 balls to go. Dev Tadani bowl his final over. And he is back on the Taarika end. He bowled 1 from Atul's end in the middle of his spell. His first delivery here of over number 18 is a wide. Again, the order of the day seems to be to try to keep it out of Adada's arc, keep him from collapsing those hands and crushing the ball over mid-wicket or backward square. Carries with it the danger of those extras. And another. Those 2 runs, Strikers NextGen into the 170s for the second time this season. It is the 3rd highest inning score of the Chandrabotapati Memorial Super League groups phase. Pranay Suri arguing, I think that Adada is stepping across his stumps and maybe should be creating a bit more leeway. That one in the air and over the top of long on. So the continued frustration, you're trying to keep it out of the arc. Once it lingers, it's bad news. Adada up to 31 off 13. We were commenting before about Cameron Hotak perhaps having company in the 40s in a moment from Amogadapalli as that one's run back of point. Nice slap, and that'll be another 2 runs, and Adada will maintain the strike. I mentioned that Adapalli might join his captain in the 40s before too long. I think when I said that, Adada was on 12. Taarun might beat him. The rate he's going, 33 off 14, a strike rate of 236. That one is airborne straight back over Tadani's head, and that one's going to make it to the rope on the fly. The run rate now in excess of 10s for Strikers Cricket Academy NextGen 11. Second maximum of the over. Tadani taking some tap in the last over of his spell. His first one went for 5. His second one for 15. Trying to keep it away from him, and this time does stay within the tram lines for a dot delivery. Third over went for 13. This one so far 16. Another one straight back over the bowler's head. Will the park hold that one? No, it will not. Third maximum of the over. With that, the highest score of the tournament for Strikers Cricket Academy NextGen 11 and a 50 partnership in just 19 deliveries. Most of the damage here being done by Adada. Swing and a miss at a ball just dancing along the tram line. And Tadani will finish the over with a dot, but he does not strike in his 4 overs of work and concedes 55 from them, an economy nearing 14s. Taarun Adada taking the whooping stick right now to AI Gladiators, 190 for 3 with 12 balls to go. And at least a little bit of a surprise, it appears that Harish Kakani is going to bowl the final over from Atul's end. And one would imagine that's going to flip Supranch Kumar over to the Taarika end for the 20th. Alternatively, Pranay Suri and Sohan Bhatt also have bowled today and have overs remaining, as does Shiva Mishra. Halfway to off pace from Harish Kakani on the first delivery, and that one scoots under the bat of Amogarapalli. Adada, now your leading scorer in this innings with 45 off 18. He has put 7 of the 18 balls he's faced over the rope, 4 of them without a bounce first. I do wonder a little bit about, especially with all the success Adada is presently having, about the decision not to maybe give the ball to a lefty spinner or an off spinner. This one's wide of Mishra, the only man inside the circle on the offside. They'll be picked up in the deep, but throws back in too late. They will take a pair. Amogarapalli with what might be his first runs in 3 overs. Tarun Adada has been dominating the strike since he's come on the field. To great effect for strikers next gen. Going Yorker length and wide, Kakani that time around. Another dot delivery, 2 from 3. You'll take it. AI Gladiators, the team that conceded the biggest total of the season. The only total so far over 200, that by Achan Zwanan. They've now conceded the second highest. That one is driven straight back over Kakani's head. No fielder there. And 4 more onto Amogarapalli's total. Strikers to 196. And Arapalli into the 40s. The explosion here from Tarun Adada has... let's put Arapalli's innings into a little bit of a shadow all of a sudden. Don't sleep on that 165 strike rate. Very full, very wide, and the call coming from the dugout was maybe even off the pitch, but Prakash Giri has not given a no ball, just simply a wide. Harish has had a couple come out a little funny here in this innings. He is responsible for one of the only 2 wickets taken by the bowlers. Pranay Suri the other, as he got Kamran Hotak. Much better, and targeting the stumps just a little bit over them. Gets away from Manav Nayak, so it will be a bye. That'll bring Tarun Adada back on strike. 45 from 18. What an innings from him after having scored just 7 runs in the tournament so far. Came in with a strike rate of 39. I think it's around 150 now for the tournament. Another full toss, that one also approaching waist height. Adada able to pick up a pair. And that is the 200 up for strikers next gen. 6 balls left to build the total. They are at 200 for 3, breaking the 200 mark for the first time in this tournament. And along with all the other suffering that AI Gladiators have been subjected to over the last roughly 45 minutes. They will now have to bowl the final over with one fewer man outside the circle. They have not gotten through the overs quickly enough. It is going to be the righty pacer Supranj Kumar who bowled his first 3 overs from Atul's end. Tasked with trying to restrain this team, who are in sight of potentially the high score for the group phase, just 12 runs shy of a high water mark that Afghan Zwanan posted back in the second match day. As we mentioned, that 212 for 6th also hung on the AI Gladiators. They have coughed up the only 200-run days. Two batters as well, flirting with milestones. So decision time here as Mishra and Pranay Suri commiserate to decide where to put those deep fielders now that they've got just 4 of them permitted. They have gone with mid-wicket, long on, sweeper cover, and backward point. There's a run out, it would appear, waiting for the signal as Manav Nayak rolls that one to the stumps. And it does appear that it has beaten Taruna Dada to that. He will be denied an opportunity to reach the half-century mark by 3 runs, and is denied that courtesy of a run out from Manav Nayak. Second run out of the innings, but Adada, what an innings for him. 47 off 19. And he will be replaced by somebody who's, well, absolutely got the thirst for some long bombs. Gary Graham. Comes out to the center. He has got 3 4s and a 6. As he's posted 34 runs in his 2 innings in this tournament, 27 of those in his high watermark innings. .47 off 19, your final result for Taruna Dada, and in just 28 balls, he and Amok Adapalli add 63 runs to the total to get to 200 for 4. It will be Graham on strike, since Adada was run out over at the wicketkeeper's end. That is an absolute beamer, popped way up in the air. It will be dropped by Shivam Mishra, but it does not matter because that is the no-ballingest of no balls. That ball might have been rising when it was made contact with. My goodness. So a no ball plus a run taken. Amok Adapalli on 43 from 28 will face the no-hit, or the free hit, rather. No ball, free hit. That's the terminology. And he'll drag that on the ground, but it's going to be right at the deep man at mid-wicket. So just 1 from the free hit. 4 balls left. Gary Graham back on strike. Strikers NextGen 9 runs shy of a new high score for the tournament. And quite remarkably, unless Adapalli gets back on strike and goes yard, they may well have done this without a single batter reaching the half-century mark. Back when Zwanan went for 212 as Graham hits that one on the ground to the left side. Long run for Supranj. They'll just take the 1, though. The lone other 200 score, courtesy of Afghan Zwanan back on May 2nd. featured a pair of scores in the 60s from Saidi Ganesh and Suleiman Adabzai. Today's high water mark, Taranadada's 47. Adapali's got 3 balls to see what he can say about that. Hot and a miss, pounding into the gloves of Manav Nayak. Supranch and Pranay Suri, arguably the only bowlers really to save face for AI Gladiators in this innings. And it's saying something when going in an economy just over 8s qualifies as that, but it's been that kind of day. Two balls remain in the innings. That's lifted, but will fall in front of long on. Just a single there, so we will not have a new high score, it would appear. Graham could get the strikers within 1 if he unloads. Naman Patil, it appears, would have been next in, but he's unstrapping the pads right now with 1 ball remaining in the innings. It's coming to Gary Graham from Supranch Kumar. Full toss, and that is going to be flagged down and held near the infield by Pranay Suri. That will likely save a couple of runs. Looking to come back for the second, maybe even a third here as the throw's down to Supranch Kumar's end. Bales whipped off, and Graham will be run out on the final delivery, but they do take 2 before the run out takes place, and so they will finish out at 207 for 5. Second highest score of the tournament, highest for strikers next gen. Gary Graham's going to finish with 4 off 3. Amog Adapali and Taranadada, and for that matter, Kamran Hotak, all out in the 40s. Well, Adapali not out. He's in fact 44 not out at the end of proceedings. But quite a first innings performance here from Strikers Cricket Academy Next Gen 11. And there it is. It finishes at 207 for the loss of 5. One more quick pass over the scorecard before we go to our break. And again, your high scorer, Taranadada, what a performance from him. He had 7 of the 19 balls he faces to the rope, 4 of them out on the fly, accounting for half of the maximums in the innings for Strikers Next Gen. 47 off 19, a strike rate of nearly 250. He's joined in the 40s by the wicketkeeper, the young man Amog Adapali. 4 4s and 2 6s for him en route to 45 off 31 not out. 40 as well from the captain and opener, Kamran Hotak. He gets that off of 31 deliveries. Didn't hit a maximum, but did hit 7 4s in the innings, tied with Adada for the most balls to the boundary in the course of the innings. 32 from Rohit Ramkumar off 21 balls, 3 4s, and the first 2 6s of the encounter coming off of his bat before he was run out trying to take an extra one off of an overthrow back at the end of the 8th over. That opening partnership went for 74 runs. And then we had another big partnership there in the middle, the 63 added by Taranadada and Amog Adapali. That coming at an insanely rapid pace, 63 off 28, in order to push that total all the way to 200, just the second time we've seen a number that high here in the Chandrabotapati Memorial NSL. Taking a look at the bowlers, it's tough reading for the AI Gladiators. As we mentioned, Supranch Kumar, the only one really to save face that bowled the full complement, 33 off of his 4. Pranay Suri, bit of sunlight amongst the clouds, 1 for 13 in his 2. Harish Kakani, the only other bowler to strike, he takes the wicket of Vivan Jagtiani before he was able to get up and seriously running, but gives up 42 runs in his 4 overs, as does Vatsal Vaghela without striking. Dev Badani, 55 off of his 4 overs. Sohan Bhatt, 18 off of his 2 without striking. 2 runouts. Nisar Wadat getting Rohit Ramkumar to start. And the run out of Taronadada, actually, correction, 3 runouts. Over the course of it, Manav Nayak involved in all 3, swept the bails off to dismiss Rohit Ramkumar, rolled it along the ground and hit the direct hit to dismiss Taronadada, and then the run out on the throw down to Supranj Kumar to dismiss Gary Graham on the final ball. He also was responsible for catching the Harish Kakani wickets. So busy day for Manav Nayak. He's going to need to get busy with bat in hand if AI Gladiators are going to make this much of a battle. We'll be back in about 15 minutes with their chase of 208, looking for a spot in the final here of the Chandrabotapati Memorial NCCA Super League. See you in a few. Muted over on my end.
Hello.
208 runs. That is the target that has been set by Strikers NextGen to the AI Gladiators. Get there, and you're headed to the grand final, the Chandrapotapati Memorial NCCA Super League. Joe Hickey with you from the Taarika Youth Foundation ground in Morgan Hill, California, for the last match of the group phase. And we mentioned before, this tournament has basically given us a eliminator, a qualifier, and a challenger in 3 of the last 4 group phase matches. There was also a dead rubber yesterday, and it kind of turned out that way, with Afghan Zwanen falling big to Santa Clara Cricket Club Aces in a match that did not matter anymore. This one matters quite a bit. Your finalist is going to be decided in the next 120 balls, and delivery is a wide to Manav Nayak. It's the 2 young now San Ramon Grizzlies batters opening the batting for the AI Gladiators. And Sahil Garg coming off one of the best days of the tournament for him. For Manav Nayak, he started strong, but has had a rough go of it ever since. First 2 deliveries, both wide of the tram lines. And a third, and that one, it sounded like Gary Graham at slip liked, but it is 3 wides to open up the defense of 208. That one in on the legs. It's gotten pad, maybe a little bat first. Half-hearted appeal, but it's a dot delivery. Well struck, but it will pick out a fielder on the infield, on the onside, but Manav Nayak underway, opening the blade and firing that one in towards the covers. Nayak 43 in the opening day win over the Aces, but 11-1, 2-2 since. Garg had scored 17 runs in the entire tournament going into the match 8 days ago against the Aces. And he and his captain Shivam Mishra put up a 122-run partnership, and he was responsible for 71 of that. He'll let that one go by as well, looking to navigate Kamran Hotak. This one along the ground and picked up by Vivan Jagtiani. No run on offer. Deep protection in this first over of the power play against the right-handed bat of Sahil Garg is at long off and deep mid-wicket. Garg will dump that one into a vacant area on the onside and pick up a single. Both batters now underway, looking for a fascinating attempt at a hook on a ball that winds up back behind him. Was Manav Nayak. That'll be another wide, 4th of the over. Brief pause as a black car had driven into the batter's eye, but Manav Nayak says continue, and that one is taken off the bails. And Manav Nayak's struggles are going to continue here. He is gone at 6 for 1, bowled by Kamran Hotak, the leading wicket taker in the tournament, strikes yet again. And the AI Gladiators are wasting no time. In at 3, it is the captain, Shivam Mishra, and this was the partnership that led to all the pyrotechnics 8 days ago in the game that allowed this AI Gladiators team to continue to hope for a spot in the final. So far, today's game, absolutely nothing like the first meeting between these two sides. I'm a little bit confused here because at least based on the count of wide deliveries, it would seem there should still be one ball left in that first over. I think we're going to need some confirmation in a moment because at the moment, Yusuf Zazai appears to be getting ready to bowl over number 2. Everyone else seems happy about that. I guess one of those, maybe there was an extra dot in the middle that we missed. Certainly my card only had only had 3 dots, 2 singles, and 4 wides. No, wait, that adds up. Never mind. That absolutely adds up. Okay. So at any rate, over number 2, first one from the Taarika end, Yusuf Zazai over the wicket, and that is going to be guided wide of the diving fielder. And even though Kamran Hotak got a hand to it at mid-off, not able to slow it down enough to keep it from getting to the rope. Right away, Sahil Garg underway with his first boundary off the Afghan pacer. That one dancing just wide of the stick. A dot delivery, and calls coming from the dugout to be ready for that potential flare. They've got Pranil Venna at a very short third man. You wouldn't quite call him a gully, but it's not far off. Gary Graham at slip. Deep protection at backward point. And backward square here for Strikers NextGen 11. Garg will guide this one to the onside for a single. And Shiva Mishra will face his first delivery. Mishra, as we mentioned, went big last week, 66 runs in that big partnership. He enters play today second in the Super League in scoring, although he's got a bit of a mountain to climb to catch Vijayaram Nandula. Of course, by and large, that's what he's going to need to do in order to provide AI Gladiators with a chance at chasing down this massive total. Required run rate already up past 10.5. Even with them having scored 11 off the first 9. First delivery to be faced by Mishra. A bouncer swatted into the turf. That'll get him underway. The entirety of the innings, save for the final 5 balls of it, for Strikers NextGen was a righty-lefty combination. Gladiators spent the first over with just 2 righties at the crease. Now they've got a righty-lefty, and it's the righty Sahil Garg on strike. That one again is going to dance just past the blade. Yusuf Zazai expertly varying his length. Got one up in the eyes of Shiva Mishra on the one ball he's faced. He's been, for the most part, pretty full to Garg, trying to take that edge with a short third man / fourth slip in Pranil Venna and Gary Graham just beside the wicketkeeper Amogarapalli. Garg closes the face of the bat. Taps that one back to Yusuf Zazai, and it is a clean over from him. Just the 4 on the first delivery, and 6 total from it. 2 overs gone. Gladiators 12 for 1. Early wickets have been the name of the game for Strikers Cricket Academy NextGen. It certainly was the name of the game the first time these two teams met. It was the case on both sides. Strikers won the toss and batted back on May 9th, but they were 7 for 3, 14 balls in. Supranj Kumar took 2 wickets. Faisal Khan Ahmadzai took 2 wickets. Devdadani took 2. Vatsal and Sohan Bhatt taking 1 each. And only 3 strikers made it to double figures in that match, as the Strikers NextGen were bowled out for 89. But they made it stand up, and these 2 openers, Kamran and Yusuf, took 7 wickets between them. Kamran's already got 1 today. He continues from Atul's end. The first delivery is going to yield a pair unless it's a direct hit, and awaiting the signal. And it does not appear to be forthcoming. My goodness. 2 off of Kamran's first. But that was very nearly an early dismissal of the captain in a partnership that is so important. You cannot be taking risks this early, even chasing down nearly 11 and over. A little bit of repairs being done to the furniture here. That second innings for AI Gladiators, when they chased a target of 90 and were not quite able to make it, they had their top order also ripped out. 2 wickets each for Kamran and Yusuf within the first 14 balls, and had them at 14 for 4. No Jadiwala, no Garg, no Nayak, no Khaibarwali, as that one is tapped to the offside. No run there. But it was Shivam Mishra in that match partnering with Vatsal Vagela to get them to 45 for 5, and then with Sohan Bhatt, as Mishra has dragged that one wide of the fielder in the circle and is going to be able to get that past the deep protection at long on as well. Taruna Dada not able to cut that one off. First boundary of the innings for the captain. I should say fine of the fielder in the circle, and wide of long on. Fielder in the circle was Vidit Quatra, the young man who took 2 fantastic catches in the match a week ago against Afghan Zwanan. Khotak over the wicket to the lefty Mishra. That one bending in towards him after the turn. He'll dump that into the onside and take a single. It's going to have to be the name of it early here for the Gladiators, is survive, rotate, strike, and hit the bad balls to the rope if you can. With the right-hander Garg on strike, they leave the man who was at long on in the deep, making him long off. The other deep man is at mid-wicket. Khotak now around the wicket, and this one is going to be over the top of a drawn-in man at mid-on and all the way for 6. Sahil Garg looking to pick up right where he left off last weekend. And that among the prettier shots we've seen today. As we said, rotate, strike, put away the bad balls. That one a bit fuller than Kamran would have liked, and it got the treatment. Much better length there from Kamran. And that's a dot ball to finish, but 13 off the over from the man with the second best economy among anybody who's bowled at least 5 overs in this tournament. That's not nothing if you're the AI Gladiators. 3 overs gone, 25 for 1. No changes as yet to the bowlers. Yusuf Azai will bowl the second from the Taarika end as well. It is the captain on strike to start over number 4. Deep man at backwards square, and another at third man for Shiva Mishra. And he's going to take on that backward square and dust him by a good 20 feet. A 6 on the first ball. Yusuf Azai wandering onto Mishra's pads, and you just cannot bowl that length and that line to that man. Deep man, I believe that's Vivan Jagtiani, having to take a small adventure into MH Orchards to retrieve that delivery, or that, well, I guess delivery, that was airmailed. We'll put it that way. Zazai looking for a comeback. He went for 6 total off his first over. He goes for 6 on the first ball of his second. Over the wicket to Mishra. That is a very, very nice delivery. Pulls the length back and is in that tough to read line. Mishra fending. Lucky to pull the bat back. Three men behind square on the offside right now. Graham at point, drawn in third man, and a deep man between the two of them. Interesting field here. They'll look to take a quick one. Graham, a fielder you don't take on lightly. Up with it and guns it toward the stumps. Looked like Garg was in safely, though, without too much fear. This partnership already up to 26 off of 15. It is going to have to make its way deep into the afternoon if AI Gladiators are going to have much chance of chasing down this target of 208. That's a thick edge, but it's going to run wide of the man square the wicket at point. Sahil Garg with a 4. Partnership now up to 30 off 16. And it's early days for sure, but not for nothing. AI Gladiators just a run behind the DLS par score at this point. I don't think there's any chance of this game getting called by rain. It's not a single cloud in the Morgan Hill sky here. Not even high altitude cirrus. It is just blue as far as the eye can see. That goes for the jerseys on the field as well. Gladiators, strikers, umpires. Heck, I'm wearing a navy blue USA kit myself. And there it is again. Put the bad ball away, otherwise rotate strike. They seem to again be moving around as if there was a dot that we didn't catch. Oh no, yeah, never mind, there it was. I see it now. All right, so 6.14.1. Yusuf Azai giving up a couple to the boundary rope. As we said, his first over went for 6, second one goes for 12, and through 4, 37 for the loss of 1. First bowling change, and it comes at Atul's end. Kamran Hotak, the captain, gives way to Pranil Venna. Venna with 2 wickets in his 10 overs of work so far. Has gone at one of the higher economies on the team at 8.90. So if you are Sahil Garg and Shiva Mishra, you are hoping to feast. First delivery, though, is a nice one on about a 7th stump line inside the tram lines and at an uncomfortable height. Dot delivery as Sahil Garg looks to get the measure of Pranil Venna. That one just about chops Garg in half. It looks like it got a piece of him. Potentially forearm or thumb. And he is clearly worse for the wear, and we're going to need a moment to address his condition before this match can continue. Said Garg, for his part, that performance the other day moved him all the way up to 8th in run scoring in this tournament. In fact, moved him past Vidit Quatra and his own teammate Nisar Wadat into the top 10. It is really, though, just Shiva Mishra and perhaps eventually Vivan Jagtiani that would have any real chance of chasing down Vijayaram, the tournament's leading scorer. It does look like that may be the end of the day for Garg, as looks as though Nisar Wadat is getting himself ready in case he needs to be brought in right at this point as conversations continue. Jagtiani went for 21 earlier today. That gives him 165 in the tournament. Puts him 91 shy of Vijayaram Nandula. As we mentioned, Mishra, probably the only person besides... Actually, no, I'm just going to say the only person that's likely to have much hope of chasing him down in a final, if they can get there. His own teammate, Suleiman Arabzai, is 100 runs exactly behind him. Mishra with his 15 so far here today, though. He's moved himself to 192. If he goes big enough here today, Mishra might well be able to take over first place by the end of the day. I'm not sure why I called Arabzai his teammate. Nandula plays for the Aces. He was playing in that game against the Zwanan, but not for the Zwanan. So he's the rabbit out front right now in the race for the orange hat. Metaphorical. I don't know, maybe we got an orange one around here somewhere. Of course, as we mentioned to you, Kamran Hotak presently your leading wicket taker. And he's already added 1 to that total. For Kamran, that was his 15th. His brother, Amir Hamza, crept right up to the edge, though, with his wickets in yesterday's game against the Aces. He's sitting at 13. In your race for the purple cap. Here comes Pranil Venna. And Sahil Garg has stayed in here after getting some treatment. First deliveries run off the blade. Stopped by Gary Graham at a short third man. 3 dots to start for Pranil Venna, who, as we did mention, had his struggles with maintaining a decent economy to this point. Good start to his first over of work. That one's in the air, and it might be a wicket. Backpedaling and squeezing! Guess who? Diving play at backward point. And that's going to make its way to the boundary, and a solid finish to the over for the AI Gladiators with that 4. Mishra's up to 19, but Sahil Garg has to walk on 17 from 15. Through 5, Gladiators 42 for 2. Nisar Wadat on strike, and the final over of the power play is going to be handed to Naman Patil. Naman, a big part of the story when these two teams met back on May 9th. It was he and Kamran Hotak who engineered the 5 wickets lost for 4 runs in 15 balls to steal that win. And as a reminder, the fact that the Gladiators didn't get over the line chasing 90 way back then is actually the reason that they're battling for a semifinal spot today instead of already in it. It's a classic playoff 4-pointer. And that swing has got strikers in position to advance unless AI Gladiators do something truly special here in the final game of the group phase. A bit of a misfield in the deep. Thoughts of maybe trying to take a second, but just never quite decisive enough there between Mishra and Wadat. And Patel took 2 for 6 in 2.2 overs in the late going of that, and Kamran Hotak removed Mishra and Wadat on back-to-back deliveries in that one to end the partnership that had gotten them within 9 runs of victory. So a very rich 1 on the first ball out of the hands of Naman Patil. He now faces the captain. Left on left, and he's beaten him for pace on that one, not able to catch up. Naman's 2 wickets in the late going of that first matchup between these two squads. 2 of his 5 on the tournament. He's taken them on average once every 12 balls, and for on average 12 runs each. The economy just a hair under a run a ball at 5.81. So far, 1 off his first 2. That's going to put a dent in the economy and possibly in the fencing out there beyond the rope. That is going all the way over the top of cow corner off the bat of Shivam Mishra. His second maximum as he looks to keep his team on course for that spot in the grand final, tentatively scheduled for July 1st. Probably not here, tentatively scheduled for a rather interesting venue. Can't say anything officially just yet, to my knowledge. And I would ask Prakash, but he's out there at square leg umpire right now, so no dice there. What does Naman have for the comeback against Mishra? A little on the short side, and Mishra does well to run that to third man, but scouting report is accurate, and that'll be just a single. That brings up the 50 for the AI Gladiators here, 2 balls shy of the end of the power play. Gladiators presently going at almost 9 runs and over. They need to bump that to just about 10.5 by the end of this chase, however. That one rising on Wadat. He'll pound that into the ground for a dot delivery. described as being a little bull in terms of his build. One of the more exciting players in this area. That is a phenomenal shot, though, by Nisar Wadat. Off another ball, was a little bit on the short side. Manages to keep that in front of square, and with the deep protection at backward square, too long of a run. Gets over on a bounce. So a pair of boundaries on the over. Mishra's 6 and Wadat's 4 to finish. And Patel's first goes for 12. AI Gladiators now going at exactly 9 runs a ball through the power play, 54 for 2. And the signal comes that the power play is at an end. 5 permitted outside the circle from here to the finish line, as long as you get through your overs in time, which, admittedly, I've now called 5 full innings, and I think 3 of them have not quite gotten done in time. Almost makes me glad we didn't get the games in the day that the pitch was not in good enough shape. This game and the one played yesterday are rescheduled from games that were supposed to be on May 30th, and it would have cost me the ability to see probably the first 3 quarters of the Western Conference Finals Game 7 in the NBA. So, of course, we're now far enough into the future that my beloved San Antonio Spurs have fallen to defeat, and the city of New York has gone absolutely buck wild. And we knew there'd be property destruction, win or lose, but for whatever reason, it's always better when they're happy. At any rate, Pranil Venna continues on here as that tangent comes to a close. Shiva Mishra on strike. Looking for the paddle sweep, but is going to flick that over his own shoulder to a fine third man. That's going to go all the way to the rope for 4. A lovely start to the post-power play overs here for Shiva Mishra. He's going at better than 2 runs a ball, and his side is going to need a little something like that. Oh, correction. Never mind. He is not going at better than 2 runs a ball because he doesn't get credit for those. He didn't actually make contact. Those are all going to be buys. That keeps Venna's economy in good shape and drags Mishra's strike rate down under 200. It was 26 from 13, now 26 from 14. Did enough to distract Amogadapalli behind the stumps, though. That one is lifted deep and into the pavilion. Pranay Suri and company taking evasive action as that one got into the trees. That's the problem with this here. This was Oriole Park at Camden Yards or something like that. You'd see folks running over with their hats trying to catch it in the bullpen. But here we got the trees, and it plays Plinko off of those, and you have no idea where it's going to end up. Good news is the trees have done a good job of defending the row of cars just behind the pavilion there. At any rate, the substance of all of that is that Shiva Mishra is back over 200 for the strike rate, 32 from 15, and he's got his 3rd maximum of the encounter. Looking to drag his team into a final. Lovely cut. It's going to run to backward point. There's protection there. It'll just be a single, but again, that's been the order of the day here. Get your big hits, put away the bad balls, and then rotate strike and keep things moving. With those 2 deliveries, I love to keep an eye on the DLS par score, lets you know where Duckworth, Lewis, and of course, Mr. Stearns believe we would be headed from this point. Of course, no danger of this game ending early, but right now, Gladiators 1 run shy of par. Wadat does well to make a little room, but Gary Graham quick to pounce on it on the offside inside the circle, and that'll just be a dot delivery. But about a third of the way into the chase, and so far, AI Gladiators doing what they need to do. First over outside the power play. A lot of deep protection behind square for both Wadat and for Shiva Mishra. They're looking to take the quick single. Graham trying to throw down the stumps. Almost got the umpire as well. Backed up by Yusuf Azai. Another one of those rich ones. "12 so far from the over. 8 of those off the bat. 6 of them on one majestic ball drilled over cow corner by Shiva Mishra. He'll face the final delivery of this over now. This time he does get the scoop, and he has found some green pastures. That is rolling, and it does indeed have the juice to make it to the boundary at a very fine, fine leg. 4 more runs to the total. And AI Gladiators 2 wickets down, but going at exactly 10 and over. 70 for 2 through 7. We'll get our first look today at Umang Parikh, who's going to bowl from the Taarika end. Umang sporting the number 3 jersey. Just his second innings of the tournament. He took 2 for 11 in 2 overs of work. His first time out, and he'll be coming out with his left arm leg spin against this righty-lefty combination, looking to see if they can put some pressure on Nisar at one end. Perhaps starve Mishra of the strike and create the sort of run rate pressure that could make things a little more challenging. The required rate now back down to 10.6. It had reached about 11.5 just before this recent explosion toward the end of the power play. First delivery is a loopy full toss. That's going to get through everything and is misfielded out here behind by Gary Graham. That's going to allow 2 runs to be taken. Awaiting the signal of whether there was any bat on that at all, and nothing forthcoming from Sundaram Subramanian. So it would appear those are indeed runs. 2 off the first. Bit flatter, bit shorter. And this one tapped to the offside for a dot delivery. Deep protection with Nisar Wadat batting. You do have a backward square, otherwise everything else is out in front. Rather fine leg is at a very wide position in Gary Graham. That is a shot and a half from Nisar Wadat. Gets that one on the up and drives it between sweeper, cover, and long off. That was hit with some authority. Nisar came in with 3 4s and 5 6s on the season entering action today. He's already sent 2 to the boundary. One of those coming against Naman Patil, the other just now. And this time he's going to go the other direction. That is lifted and clear of mid-wicket. For the briefest of moments, looked like Vivan Jagtiani might have been in the game. But now he delivers his first maximum of the day and his 6th of the tournament. Nisar approaching 2 runs a ball. Shivam already in excess of it. And they don't need that the whole way, but they do need this little burst to make this a little more manageable looking. And again launched. And no doubt this time, right away, you see the back of Kamran Hotak's jersey. And he is just running to fetch. Not to chase, not to catch. That one absolutely pummeled over long on. Quite the stylish way to bring up the 50 partnership. And we thought the earlier one was quick. I believe that is the second 50 partnership we've seen put up in the span of 19 balls. Sahil Garg dismissed on 4.4, and here on 7.5, they've gone from 37 for 2 to 88 for 2 in the blink of an eye. AI Gladiators telling you right now, we're in this. That one briefly in the air may have carried, but Gary Graham not able to squeeze it. That's either a very harshly described quote-unquote drop or a delightful save of 4 runs. Unfortunately, we have no replay with which to judge that. Either way, it's a dot to finish a very active over. 18 from it, all of them off the bat of Nisar Wadat. He's at 25 off 12. And Gladiators 88 for 2 through 8. The captain, Kamran Hotak, has said that'll be quite enough of this. As we've mentioned, Hotak coming in with the second best economy among bowlers that have bowled at least 5 overs in the tournament. His brother, Amir Hamza, the only one with a better economy, and it's merely by a couple hundredths of a run per over. But he puts himself back into the attack here with the current run rate for the first time over the required rate. They've scored at 11s. From here, they need 10s. We mentioned before they were about 13 runs behind the par score just 3, maybe even 2 overs ago. They now sit 11 runs ahead of the par score of 77. 120 needed from 12 overs. And so Hotak puts his hand up. Arguably the best spin bowler in the state already. There are a handful of folks that would probably put their hands up and say, I'd like to make a case for myself, but his case right now, most wickets in the West among spinners in MILC last year, and only one bowler with a better economy than him in the Western Division out of the spinners bowled even half as many overs as he did. And in this tournament, second in economy, leading in wickets. Looking to lead his team to the final. First delivery worked by Mishra, back behind square for a single. Of note, despite the pyrotechnics in over number 8, it was the first over since the 4th that didn't end with a boundary on the final ball. So good on Umang Parikh to, at the very least, bring the boundary parade to an end and give them something to build off of. Kamran Hotak placing his field carefully. He has opened up a massive gap down the ground here. Oh, never mind. Camera itself was hiding the man at long on from me. He's actually quite fine. Long off a little on the wide side. Sweeper cover, mid-wicket, which is looking almost a little cow cornerish at the moment. and a deep backward square to Nisarwadat. Conversations here between the two captains and the umpire Prakash Giri at the moment. On the infield, no one inside the circle on the onside except for Fine Leg. 3 in position on the offside. Trying to go to the offside, picks out the middle of those 3 fielders, Gary Graham at point. Knocks down the hot shot, and that's a dot delivery here from Hotak. Exactly what he put himself in for a third over of work to do. Hasn't been uncommon for him to bowl 3 overs in the power play. This time he gave the last from this end to Pranil Venna. Big hoik and a miss. Hurried that one up there just a little bit. Well, that absorbing just a little bit of pressure at the moment. Round the wicket. A little bit of turn on offer, and he's going to split the gap between the 2 fielders in front of point on the offside. That'll be a single, and Shiva Mishra is brought on strike. 38 from 18 for him so far, as the temperatures have gotten up into the mid-70s here. We started at 68 degrees, expecting it to reach 90 by mid-afternoon, but we'll be long gone with a decision made by that point. A slog sweep in the air, running in is the fielder and unable to get there. It's just going to be 1. Fielder on that side, I believe Ramesh Basnet nearly got there. He and Vivan Jagtiani, the deep protection in the deep on the onside to the lefty. Basnet came screaming in, couldn't get there, but it is just a single. Wadat back on strike. Hotak gets a decent bit of turn on that delivery, and that is a fantastic over to try to bring a bit of sanity to the proceedings, but Kamran Hotak has gone down following that delivery. I'm not quite sure what happened there. I took my... Oh, okay. It looks like a cramp here is the call that they're looking for, maybe the salt tablets, the electrolytes to try to get Kamran Hotak back in working order, but he pulled off of that last delivery and hit the deck. At any rate, we'll get some treatment for Kamran Hotak. He's brought, as we said, a little sanity to the proceedings again. Accrual rate now down to just over 10, 91 for 2 through 9. A little difficult to see exactly what happened to the Strikers' NextGen captain. We took a look at the rapidly archiving live stream and certainly saw him go down. Unclear whether... And if I'm not mistaken, we are back in business for the final 4 overs of this contest, which is extremely exciting because it has been a heck of a match. 174 for 4, you see here on the scoreboard. Suri and Kakani trying to bring it home. Naman Patil into the attack from Atul's end. That one's run down to third man for a single. 33 now required from 23 in a chase of 208. To put this in perspective, until today there'd only been one score in excess of 200 in this Chandrabotapati Memorial NCCA Super League. Suddenly now, we have got ourselves one score in excess of 200 and a second score rapidly approaching it, 175 for 4. But the Gladiators will not feel comfortable until they're across the line, knowing what this Strikers team did to them when they got close back on May 9th. Patel over the wicket. Cut and a miss from Harish Kakani. To catch you up on what you missed, it was Naman Patel's over when we lost signal over here, and he got battered in that one. He is now gone, as you can see on the screen, for 42 from 3.2. He got smacked around a little bit at the halfway point. That partnership between Wadat and Mishra went all the way to 114 for 3. Mishra lasted until 133 for 4 and left with 69 off 29. An absolute captain's knock. This one is scorched on the ground and has got a little too much and is hit just behind us here in the broadcast position. Hammered, just avoided our camera and wound up against one of the legs of our tent here in the broadcast area of 4. Hit with some serious stank off the bat of Harish Kakani. Nifsar Wadat was dismissed with 26 off 17. Mishra bowled by Umang Parikh, who has otherwise taken all manner of tap as Patel evades the bat of Kakani this time. And now, since the arrival of these two out at the crease, it's been 46 added to the total in 4.4, 28 balls. Another cut and a miss, and inside the tram lines. Was waiting for a signal from Prakash Giri. It did not come. This right now starting to pull that required run rate a little bit higher. 29 now required from 19. Final ball of the 17th. Stepping forward and unable to make contact is Kakani, and it is a wide this time. At this juncture here, looking at the bowlers, you're expecting, as this one is dragged along the ground to the onside, they take the quick single, thought about a second, will think better of it. That ball is controlled there, and that'll be a single to finish. Umang Parikh has had his spell come to an end. 48 runs from his 4. He goes at 2 runs a ball, concedes 4 fours, 2 sixes, and 2 wides, and does not strike. 3 overs to go. Kamran Hotak, Yusuf Sazai, and Umang Parikh have 1 each remaining in the kitty. And AI Gladiators need 9s, 27 from 18 balls, to make their way to the final of the Chandrabotapati Memorial Super League. Delighted to have you folks back here on the official live stream on the NCCA Cricket YouTube page. We had about 5 overs there in the middle of searching desperately for some way to connect back to the internet and back to the YouTube servers. Prakash Giri doing double duty today. He is called into service as one of the 2 umpires alongside Sundaram Subramanian. He's also usually the one running the technical end of this so that your boy can just search stats and talk. But he came on back and got that done. It's going to be Yusuf Zazai bowling his final over of the encounter from the Taarika end. Getting right down to the nitty-gritty here. 27 required from 18. Pair of right-handed batters at the crease. Protection is all in the circle behind Harish Kakani. Standard protection in the deep. First delivery off pace from Zazai on the ground to the offside, and it gets underneath Gary Graham for a single. Pranay Suri was thinking about a second. But he is turned back by Kakani. And why not? The way that Suri's been hitting so far, 2 4s and 2 6s in the 17 balls he's faced. Only batters today with a better strike rate than Suri presently has were Tarun Adada and his 247 in the first innings, and Shiva Mishra's 238, 69 off 29 here. That one is guided wide of the keeper, and fine of third man. A 4 for Pranay Suri. AI Gladiators have it down to 22 needed from 16. As we told you, the nerves here boil down to knowing what this bowling attack was capable of a month ago here at this ground. In a low-scoring thriller, Gladiators were 9 runs away with 22 balls to go and 5 wickets in hand. And when Kamran Hotak dismissed Shiva Mishra and Nisar Wadat on back-to-back deliveries, it began a 5 lost for 4 in 15 balls collapse. If not for that, Gladiators would already be your other finalist. The Strikers Cricket Academy NextGen 11 would be playing this one for pride. Instead, they know if they can find some way to stop this train, they'll still be playing Afghan Zwanan on July 1st. But Gladiators are now 22 runs away. Third ball of the 18th coming up here from Yusuf Zazai. And the amount of time he's been taking, I'd have to imagine we're going to again be looking at another player being brought inside the rope for over number 20, maybe even over number 19. Suri assessed the position of the fielders. Zazai now ready to steam in. Suri works that off his feet. Back behind point, up with it quickly is Pranil Vedna. Just a single, 21 needed from 15. Pranil Vedna, the most economical of the pace bowlers, has already bowled out his spell, took 2 for 36. He's the man that was up with that delivery. Harish Kakani now on strike. Slow ball, and it's rises up high. Yusuf Zazai, inspired by the recent start of the FIFA World Cup, trying to kick that one onto the stumps to dismiss Pranay Suri, but it will be a single. Off-pace bouncer coming in from Zazai. He gets enough on it to begin with that he can still steam it up there into your grill, even when he's taken off about 10 clicks. Deep protection for Suri. is it long off and a very, very fine sweeper cover, as well as long on, mid wicket, and square leg. Hoiks this one and is going to not quite beat the fielder. No, he's lost the ball and it's a 4. Nathwar Agowal seemed to have done the hard yards to keep that in front, but couldn't get the hands on it cleanly. It continues on its path. Just like that, it's 16 from 13. Final ball of the over, and he split the gap between Jagtiani, or excuse me, rather, Parikh and Venna. Somehow threaded that gap back behind point. It's another 4 runs, and it's almost done. 12 needed from 12. AI Gladiators need to go a run a ball from the last 2 overs, and they'll be on their way to that final. 196 for 4. Already the highest total AI Gladiators have posted this season with bat in hand by a solid 35 runs. It's also their best run rate, because they did get that 161 in just under 16 overs, but it's their best run rate by nearly a full run a ball, 10.89 to this point. They still have 12 more to get, and it's going to be Kamran Hotak bowling the 19th. And they'll figure out the 20th if they get there. First delivery along the ground. They know they need wickets here, and nobody better than the tournament's leading wicket taker with 15 and 1 already on the day early on. But that dismissal of Manav Nayak has got to feel like it was a month ago. It was 6 for 1, then it was 37 for 2, and since then, a parade of big scores for the Gladiators. That is straight up. Who wants it? Is it going to fall in no man's land? It is, just in front of Tarunadada. Could not quite make the ground. Nathwar Agowal had a long way to go over from short mid-wicket, and it falls right between the two of them. One run, and Surrey survives. They continue to bite it off in a run at a time. 3 from the first 3 balls. They now need 9 from 9. Hotak bringing himself on, knowing a wicket is pretty much the only way forward right now. Flattens it out. That one's in the air. The park may hold it. No! That has gone all the way for 6. Pranay Surrey brings up the 50 in 23 balls. He brings up the 200 for the first time for AI Gladiators in the tournament. And he's got his team 3 runs away from a date with Akhan Zwanan in the Super League final. Hotak, the second most economical bowler in the tournament, with at least 5 overs to his name behind only his brother Amir Hamza, has gone for 8.45 today. No one has escaped the onslaught. Surrey offering at that one. Kamran, a weak-hearted appeal, hoping, desperately hoping for something. He's got 1 ball left in his spell. Gladiators need 3 from 7. Hotak's been dealing with cramps since the end of his 3rd over. Last delivery tapped on the ground to the offside. They'll take a single. They are one away from leveling the encounter. And they've got 6 balls left to get 2 runs and clinch their spot in the final. 206 for 4. It's been Shiva Mishra and Pranay Suri, 2 names that by and large you associate with the Strikers, that appear ready to knock Strikers Cricket Academy NextGen 11 out of the tournament here if they can find 2 runs in the final over off of Gary Graham. The captain, Kamran Hotak, has left the field. He's been struggling physically since about the halfway point of this innings. A valiant effort, but as we said, nothing. No one spared the onslaught. Surrey drops this one square of the wicket. That has leveled the scores. And we'll remind you, if they figure this out somehow, 5 dots or some wickets here, a tie would still put Strikers in the final, but that is not looking likely. 1 to get, Harish Kakani 25 from 24, Pranay Suri 53 off 26, and Shiva Mishra's 69 off 29. A captain's knock. Can Kakani put the final touches on it? He hits that one in the air. Mid-off was drawn in. That is going to find its way to the rope. It's gone all the way for 6. And we've got a new high score in the Chandra Bhattapati Memorial NCCA Super League. 213 for 4, and they win it by 6 wickets today with 4 balls remaining. The AI Gladiators are on their way to meet the team that they just topped for that high score of the tournament. The Afghan Zwanan, tentatively scheduled for July 1st, tentatively scheduled for the field of the Oakland Coliseum. And what a date that is going to be. Personally, I'm only sorry that I'm going to have to miss that because I will be in LA doing stadium announcing for Major League Cricket. But we do hope we can get somebody on the call here because these 2 teams have earned their way there. Afghan Zwanan with excellence throughout the season. 4 wins from their 6. They've only lost to the Santa Clara Cricket Club Aces. One of those on the penultimate ball, the other one in a dead rubber yesterday in Santa Clara. The AI Gladiators, they won their first. They lost 3 in a row. They seemed in a desperate situation. And all they've done in the last 2 match days is put up their 2 highest batting scores of the season to chase down 160 with ease and 208 in the 20th over. Brilliant stuff. Again, we'll recap the cards here. Shiva Mishra take a bow, 69 off 29. Pranay Suri, 53 off 26. Mishra with 11 boundaries, 4 of them maximums. Pranay Suri, 5 fours and 3 sixes. Those big partnerships between Mishra and Wadat, and then down the stretch between Suri and Harish Kakani. Their partnership, by the way, started at, 133 for 4. So they go unbeaten for 80 runs to finish it off. The final 2 partnerships, 77 between Wadat and Shiva Mishra. And then the final partnership, 80 unbeaten between Suri and Kakani. Absolutely outstanding stuff there. As we said, no one spared the onslaught. Best economy from the Strikers bowlers belonged to Kamran Hotak, who took 1 for 32 in his 4. Pranil Venna just held them under 10 runs and over with 2 for 36 from his 4. Everybody else in excess of 10s. 40 from Zazai without striking, 48 off Patil without striking. Uman Parikh gave them a little hope when he dismissed Shiva Mishra, but he went for 44 from 3. And that is all she wrote there. Gladiators make it to the next round. The first innings, as a reminder, a couple of the stars there. A 207 for 5 was the second highest score in the tournament, put up this morning by the Strikers Cricket Academy NextGen. Adada 47 off 19. run out by Manav Nayak, depriving him of what could have been probably the fastest 50 of the tournament. Amogadapali 45 off 31. He just didn't get to face enough balls down the stretch there to get himself to the 50. Cameron Hotak 40 off 31. Had he found a way to drag that back, probably your player of the match. But as it works out, it's going to be his opposing captain, Shiva Mishra, 69 off 29. And Pranay Suri, 10 runs on the tournament coming into play today, ends up with 53 off 26. Gets the runs that pull them all the way across the finish line. And that's all we've got for you today. A 6-wicket victory for the AI Gladiators. And again, July 1st, tentatively at the Oakland Coliseum. That is where we will have them facing off with the Akan Zwanan for the championship of that. I hope to be following along myself the morning before I am doing a Major League Cricket stadium announcing gig down in LA. And whoever's got the call on that, I hope they'll have a good time. I've had a good time here with you in the Chandrabodapati Memorial Super League. Thanks for joining us here on the NCCA Cricket YouTube channel. My name's Joe Hickey, and it has been my pleasure to share this morning and afternoon with you. Have a great rest of your weekend.